You know what absolutely disgusts me? The fact that WWE nearly destroyed one of the most brutal matches of the year, and nobody's talking about it. Seth Rollins vs. Bronson Reed at Crown Jewel 2025 was a masterpiece of carnage that exposed everything wrong with modern wrestling booking, and if you don't stick around to find out why this match should have been the main event, you're part of the problem. Drop a comment right now telling me if you think WWE has lost its mind for not giving this match the respect it deserved. Let me set the stage for you. Crown Jewel 2025, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The energy is electric, the stakes are astronomical, and we're about to witness Seth "Freakin" Rollins go to war with the monstrous Bronson Reed in what would become one of the most physically devastating encounters of the entire year. But here's the thing that gets my blood boiling: this wasn't even promoted as one of the top matches on the card. Can you believe that? Before we dive into this absolute war, we have a quick request for you. We are constantly working to improve our content to earn your love and support. That's why we would truly appreciate it if you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update here on Wrestling Zone Insider. Now, when these two stepped into that ring, you could feel the tension. Seth Rollins, the architect, the revolutionary, the man who's carried WWE on his back for over a decade. And Bronson Reed, this absolute unit of destruction who had been on a rampage, taking out everyone in his path. The story going into this match was personal, it was vicious, and it was real. The bell rings, and immediately Reed charges at Rollins like a freight train. We're talking about a 300-plus-pound behemoth moving with shocking agility, and Rollins has to use every ounce of his wrestling IQ just to survive the opening moments. Reed is throwing Rollins around like a ragdoll, and you can see in Seth's eyes that he knows he's in for the fight of his life. But here's where Rollins shows why he's one of the greatest of all time. He starts targeting Reed's legs, chopping down the giant with precision strikes and calculated attacks. Every kick, every stomp, every move is designed to slow down the monster. And the crowd? They are losing their minds. The Saudi fans are on their feet, and you can feel the electricity through your screen. Trivia question 1. Before this match, how many times had Bronson Reed hit his devastating tsunami splash on Seth Rollins in their previous encounters? Drop your answer in the comments. Reed catches Rollins midair during a crossbody attempt and just plants him with a thunderous power slam. The impact echoes through the stadium. Then Reed starts showcasing his surprising athleticism. We're talking about a man this size hitting suicide dives, climbing to the top rope, and moving like someone half his weight. It's absolutely terrifying to watch, but Rollins, being the resilient warrior he is, fights back with a series of superkicks. 1, 2, 3 superkicks right to Reed's jaw, but the big man barely staggers. This is the part that had me on the edge of my seat. Rollins looks genuinely shocked that his signature moves aren't putting Reed down. So what does he do? He digs deeper into his arsenal. The match spills to the outside, and this is where things get nasty. Reed whips Rollins into the barricade with such force that it nearly collapses. Then, in a moment of absolute brutality, Reed lifts Rollins up and delivers a Death Valley driver right onto the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring. Rollins is writhing in pain, and you can see the concern on the referee's face. Reed rolls Rollins back into the ring, sensing the end is near. He climbs to the top rope, the entire ring shaking under his weight. The crowd holds their breath. He's going for the tsunami, his devastating splash that has ended countless careers. He leaps, crashes down, but Rollins moves. The ring literally shakes from the impact of Reed's massive body hitting the canvas. Trivia question 2. What is the weight difference between Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed? Let us know in the comments if you know. This is where Rollins summons everything he has left. He hits the ropes and delivers a devastating curb stomp. But Reed kicks out at 2. The crowd erupts. Rollins can't believe it. He signals for another one. He positions Reed, runs, and boom, another curb stomp. He goes for the cover, and Reed still kicks out. The frustration on Rollins' face is palpable. He knows he needs to do something extraordinary to put this monster away. He drags Reed toward the corner, climbs to the top rope, and in a moment of high-risk, high-reward strategy, he goes for a frog splash. He connects. The crowd is going absolutely insane. But instead of going for the pin, Rollins makes a critical decision. He climbs back to the top rope. The announcers are screaming about the risk he's taking. His body is battered, his ribs are bruised, but he's going for broke. He leaps for another frog splash, and Reed gets his knees up. Rollins crashes down onto Reed's knees, and you can see the air completely knocked out of his lungs. Reed senses his opportunity. He powers up, and with Rollins barely able to stand, he hoists him up and delivers a massive powerbomb. But he doesn't let go. He pulls Rollins back up and delivers a second powerbomb, and then a third. The crowd is chanting, "This is awesome," and they are absolutely right. Reed climbs to the top rope once more. This time, there's no escape for Rollins. Reed launches himself with the tsunami splash, all of his weight crashing down on Rollins' battered body. The referee counts 1, 2, 3. Bronson Reed has defeated Seth Rollins in an absolutely brutal display of power and resilience. But here's what makes me furious about this whole situation. This match, this absolute clinic of storytelling and physicality, wasn't given the spotlight it deserved on the card. WWE had something special here, the match that perfectly balanced David versus Goliath storytelling with legitimate athletic competition, and they buried it in the middle of the show. Trivia question 3. How many total curb stomps did Seth Rollins hit during this match? Comment below with your answer. The aftermath was just as compelling as the match itself. Reed stood tall, having conquered one of WWE's most decorated champions. Meanwhile, Rollins lay broken in the ring, his body pushed to its absolute limit. The respect between these two warriors was evident, even in defeat. What this match proved is that when WWE allows their talent to just go and tell a story through pure wrestling, magic happens. There were no gimmicks, no interference, no shenanigans, just two incredibly talented performers beating the absolute hell out of each other in the name of competition and pride. The psychology throughout this match was phenomenal. Every move had purpose. Every comeback was earned. Reed's dominance felt real because of his size and power advantage. Rollins' resilience felt authentic because we've seen him overcome impossible odds before. The near falls had genuine drama because both men had established their finishing moves as legitimate threats throughout the match. And can we talk about the crowd reaction? The Saudi fans were invested from bell to bell. They understood the story being told. They appreciated the athleticism. They recognized they were watching something special. That kind of organic crowd energy is what makes wrestling magical, and this match had it in spades. The physicality on display was next level. These weren't pulled punches or worked kicks, you could feel every impact. Reed's splashes looked like they were caving in Rollins' chest. Rollins' stomps looked like they were scrambling Reed's brain. This was old school, hard-hitting, physical wrestling at its finest. So why am I so angry? Because matches like this should be main events. This should have been the talk of the wrestling world for weeks. Instead, it got overshadowed by other storylines and matches that, quite frankly, didn't have half the intensity or storytelling that Rollins vs. Reed delivered. This match is a perfect example of why we do what we do here on Wrestling Zone Insider, to highlight the incredible work that sometimes gets lost in the shuffle, to give credit where credit is due, to make sure that performances like the one Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed delivered at Crown Jewel 2025 get the recognition they deserve. If you made it this far, you're a true wrestling fan who appreciates the art form. Drop a comment telling me what your favorite moment from this match was. Was it Reed's show of dominance? Rollins' never say die attitude? Those devastating finishing sequences? Let's discuss in the comments. This is the kind of content that makes wrestling special. This is why we watch. This is why we care. Seth Rollins vs. Bronson Reed at Crown Jewel 2025 wasn't just a match, it was a statement. A statement that when you put two talented performers in a ring and let them work, they can create something truly unforgettable. Until next time, this has been Wrestling Zone Insider, reminding you to keep supporting real wrestling and the incredible athletes who put their bodies on the line for our entertainment.